Hello, everybody.
Hey!
Welcome to Wow.
Yes.
Sipping Tea with Pastor D.
Wow.
It has been a year.
It has.
Oh, Lord. And we're going to discuss how we've coped and gotten through this year thus far, and how we plan to move over into 2021 and make the most of life and make it beautiful. How have you, how has work life been in the pandemic, Lisa?
Work life in the pandemic has been, for me, it's been challenging. Of course, I was a worker that had to be on the scene. I was
Essential.
an essential worker, yes, essential worker. I was over a group of people, so I had a major responsibility.
Essential worker in management.
And management, yes.
Wow.
Management over people during the pandemic. It was very interesting because you had to keep them focused and also have the concern of the COVID, what's going on in the atmosphere.
Okay.
So
is COVID real?
oh yeah, definitely, definitely, it's real. It's real. When you first hear it or first started, going out to the atmosphere, you couldn't believe that it was real. You always thought about, is it true that all these people are dying and getting sick of COVID? But it's real. It was real in our atmosphere, in the essential worker atmosphere. So challenges was there to keep employees, motivated. They had worries, they had concerns. They still had to do with their family, but yet they still had to come to work to make means, to make money, to take care of their family.
How is it keeping people motivated enough to come to work in such a strenuous time, and with the understanding that they could contract this thing?
Well, couple of things that I've done with my crew was to really went the extra mile. It's like a support system. You had to mentally support them and help them understand that you was concerned about them, concerned about their well-being, concerned about their family. You had to answer questions because I had to answer questions.
Yeah.
I had to ask from people that was in my area that was above me. How do I cope with this? How do I handle my customers, my employees, my staff, during this time? How do we stay safe? And how do we motivate the crew to continue to come to work every day? And pretty much what we did.
Oh my.
Pretty much what I did was just show some concern, did some motivation things every day, making sure that they was active, making sure they were mentally capable.
So just to clarify, how do you make them feel comfortable?
Well, you make them feel comfortable by being concerned. That's how.
The
Being
concern.
concerned. Showing concern for them. Showing concern for their family. If they say, hey, I don't feel like working today, you don't make them work. You say, I understand. Because we have to understand that, yes, they need the job for financial ability, but then again, they have a family that they have to take care of at the same time. Mentally take care of their family. Even though I'm leading them in the aspect of a work environment, they leading their family at home.
You said a key thing there, mentally. And that turns me to Paulette. What are some mental practices that people can engage in to keep them balanced in these strenuous times?
Well, what I tell most people that I deal with on a day-to-day basis is make sure you invest in yourself. And then when you invest in yourself, that's pretty much just self-care. During this pandemic, it's been overwhelming for families, for individuals, for small businesses. It's just been overwhelming. But if you forget to care about yourself, you won't be able to survive. So some of the things that I tell them, go get a massage.
Yes.
You're gonna need that. If you love to get your nails done, do that. Whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you feel worthwhile, those are some of the things that you need to do. For me personally, when I come home from a stressful day with dealing with a plethora of people, I love to go upstairs to my bedroom, relax, get in a nice bath. Once I'm out of that bath, I just like to watch TV. I don't want any phone calls. I don't want anyone bothering me. That's my time to de-stress myself of the environment that I've come out of. So make sure you participate in self-care.
Yeah.
I can't spell that out for you personally, but you know what it means and what it entails to care for yourself.
Yes.
I love massages. I love going to get my nails done. I love to watch TV. I love to take a hot soaking bath. Those are all some of the things that I enjoy that kind of helps me to come down and helps me to function.
What would you say to people that feel trapped? They just feel trapped in their homes. They, for some reason, the fear of the pandemic or COVID, but they really feel trapped in their homes, and that is driving them crazy.
For some of the individuals that may feel trapped, yeah, COVID is real. COVID is real. It is here.
Yes.
But you should not stay inside of that house 24/7.
Yeah.
You need to come outside.
Yeah.
It is stated that to boost your serotonin level, serotonin is responsible for a happy mood.
Yeah.
That's responsible. You get that from the sunlight. So if you don't want to leave your home, step outside. Get in that sunlight so you can boost your serotonin levels, so you can boost that dreary mood to a happy mood. That comes straight from the sun. So if you feel trapped in the house, the first thing that you need to do is take a step outside of the home. That's the first thing that you need to do. Get some fresh air, because if you stay inside, you're going to feel trapped and you're going to suffocate yourself. So that's some of the things that I would just recommend. Just step outside. You don't have to go anywhere. Just step outside and get some fresh air.
I know that I was feeling that way. I definitely was feeling that way, especially in March when you have the kids at home. You're trying to be the teacher, the cafeteria lady, the principal, all of those things we had to do at one time. And then spouse is still doing their job via Zoom, but you still have to take care of all of that. I know I was feeling that same way, but I had an amazing lady say, look, you have to take time for yourself, even if it's just 30 minutes. So I started going outside and then started taking the kids out and about outside as well to get fresh air. Even if we went to the park in a field, away from the house, and just did things out in the field, and learning how to do that with everybody together. And then taking that 30 minutes, just say, I'm done. Let me focus on me for 2 seconds and then get back to it.
It's amazing what creativity comes when you go outside. A lot of people don't understand that. Once you take that first step outside, get that fresh air, it awakens something on the inside of you. I watched my sister. She is not accustomed to being locked up in the house all day long. She's not accustomed to that. And those walls were just coming in on her. She was starting to get depressed, didn't know what to do. She took a step outside. When she took that step outside, she said, I'm going to plant me a garden. She started planting a garden. When she started planting that garden, I saw her happiness come back, that depressed state lifted off of her just by her stepping outside. Not only did she step outside and plant her garden, she started telling other people about, this is what I'm planting in my garden, and I have this in my garden, I have this in my pot, and it motivated other people to step outside.
And it doesn't take a lot of money to do that either.
Right.
So you got, thinking of funds and things like that, it doesn't take a lot to money to do something like that.
And it's a reward.
Yeah.
What you're seeking, that reward. Because you feel confined and you feel limited, and when you've grown this garden, even if it's just a pot plant, it's rewarding to you, and you can share your success with other people.
Because it's giving you something.
It feeds you
It's like it's
daily. Like daily, you go out and you check with your garden and you battling with something other than COVID.
Right.
Your mind is not you. Then you battling bugs. You battling something else, and so it keeps your mind working. Like you wake up early because you want to beat them bugs, so you gonna jump up early so you can get out there.
And it gives you a sense,
A purpose.
and a reason to get up.
Yeah.
A reason to get
Because
up.
I come from working 30 years and never being unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
For 30 years I worked and never been unemployed, not one day in my life. So of course it throws you in a tailspin because number one, you're used to being out
And active.
and active.
Yeah.
And so when someone comes in and says you shut down and it's shut down abruptly.
Yeah.
It ain't like we're giving you 2 weeks to shut down. No,
This is it.
you're not going back Monday.
Right.
And so you go into that place.
Yeah.
That's another question. Back to Sarah. I know you're a fitness person. What's some sort of exercise or something that people can do to release some of that tension?
Yoga. I
Yeah.
know
Yoga.
Yoga, yes.
Deep, just even if it's just deep breathing, just being mindful of your breath, literally going through your body and where it touches in your body, which is every part. So just mindful breathing, yoga, stretching, releasing those tensions, those air bubbles in when you get a massage, like you were talking about, those little tensions release. Same thing with stretching, is just stretching and releasing the tension. And if you really think about it and use, just put everything else to the side and really focus on what you're stretching and how you're breathing, it's going to rejuvenate you. You're going to be, whew, all right, let's do it. I'm ready
So
for today.
just practicing.
Deep breathing.
Let's try it real quick.
Deep breathing.
Show us how to do it. What do we do?
Get mentally, let's block everything out. You just take a nice deep breath and literally feel it down to the bottom of your lungs. And your lungs go way down here. So breathe in through your nose, keep it, hold it, exhale slow. Now feel it go down to your toes. Relax your eyes. Keep holding that. Feel it in your toes. Let all the air come out from your entire body. Open your eyes.
Oh, that was good.
Can we do it again?
One more time.
All right, Diane, we don't have time.
Last time. This time, really focus on it coming through your nose, all the way up your sinus cavity, down the back of your throat, into your belly. In. Keep going in. Relax your eyes, relax your shoulders. In, keep breathing in. I know you can do it. Down your lungs. Hold that. Exhale slow. Open your eyes slowly.
Oh, it really works.
Yeah.
It really
And
works.
anybody can do that, even with kids. Kids love to be able to do that as well,
Uh-huh.
and let them be the instructor. Like, take a deep breath now.
Yeah.
It works. Obviously, it works.
And when yoga, I was hesitant in yoga because of my size, but size plays no role
no part.
whatsoever. My favorite position is the child position.
Yes.
That is my favorite. It's so relaxing. It takes you back. It is the best thing ever.
What is that? The
It's,
child
I'm not
position.
going to demonstrate.
I heard of it.
Not today.
But you're on the floor and you it's almost like a cradle position, but it's
Oh,
not.
okay.
On your
And
ass.
it's relaxing. I mean, it just takes you there. Even doing the cat and the cow position,
That's
you go
the
down.
best.
Yes, I love them. And then the final position. I don't know the word, but when you just lay the final position and you almost go into a deep sleep.
Yes. And
After you
you
finish.
relax your body so much
Yes.
that it's dragging you down to the ground.
Exactly.
You will fall asleep.
You will.
And
You
you will
wake
feel
up.
yourself start to
Yes.
snore and be like, oh.
Is that called grounding? I'm
I'm
just throwing it out there.
No, that's not called
If
ground.
I would advise anyone to
Anyone.
try yoga. Whether you have a man, definitely get into it. It's not the traditional sense
Yeah.
of an Asian practice. It is it's spiritual on a whole different level.
Mm-hmm.
Diane, I wanted to ask you, being that you become a grandmother, how has it been?
At first, it was extremely challenging because I'm not used to anybody small being at my house. So it was challenging. It was almost a mental break But when Caitlin actually got here, COVID started. That's when all the COVID and all this started coming. And to have her running through the house, hear those little pitty pat, that little sound, those little voices, it actually kept me from almost a mental break of really not being able to get out and do what I want to do and be with other children, smaller children. So her being there actually kind of kept me sane.
So it was a blessing.
It actually was a blessing in disguise, for real, because I was not looking for it. That wasn't on my mind.
So what kinds of things do y'all do?
Me and Caitlin does almost everything, but our main things that we like to do is videos.
Yes.
She likes to take pictures.
Really?
For real. And she likes to do videos. She want to get the camera and she know, okay, Caitlin, the Facebook people want to see. Let's do a video. Caitlin is 17 months now. Let's do a video and she ready and like talk.
Why do women say that?
It's one.
17 months. Count months.
Actually 17, 16 or 17, but she's a year old. And so she just jibber jabber talk and laugh, and her laughter is so, you just don't want to hear it.
It is.
You want to hear her laugh.
It's happy.
Yeah, so that really helped me stay sane, like for real.
I'm not a grandparent or a parent or anything, but it's rewarding to me to be around the kids.
Yeah, it
At
really
this time.
is. It really
And
is.
at the beginning, COVID slowed things down so slow until you could actually
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
For
spend
real.
time with the kids.
Yes.
For real.
And not feel like, oh, I'm wasting time. I got
Uh-huh.
stuff to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing to do.
Nothing to do but spend time.
But spend time
Or,
with the kids. And now you get a chance to know them.
Personally.
And
for
you're
real.
like, oh my God, they're growing up.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was one of the things with me. Our life is busy. We're always doing something, always doing something. So I actually had time to actually really get to know all 5 of my children all over again. Like know them, things that I thought they still like, they don't like that no more.
Right.
Things that I used to do for them, they don't want me to do that. Let's do this, Mom. Let's do it. I didn't have time to really sit down with them to know that before because I was busy. With COVID, more phone calls, more coming over, more actually sitting down talking to them. So for me, I mean, COVID has not hit our home, but it has hit our home in a good way.
In a good way.
It has hit our
Because
home in a good way.
the COVID made me want to visit my parents daily.
Yeah.
And when I was off work those 2 months, I went to see them every day. And now I have a plethora of stories to tell in my salon. I mean, I'm always telling, my daddy still is COVID shelter. And he really psychs me out and tickles me with him being COVID conscious. So it brought a certain joy, and it put me back in responsible mode for them. Because now we're entering into aging parents.
Yes.
Our parents, they were my age, but they're not my age anymore. So the things that I do now, they're no longer doing that, and nor are they interested.
Exactly.
So it made me conscious and take up great care for them.
Yes.
What have you discovered about your kids?
Well, I have the way that they learn, because we had daycare, preschool, 3rd grade, and 10th grade. So the way that they learn. So now that I'm more interactive with their teachers, saying, hey, what can I do at home? How can I assist you at home? Like, what is it that I need to do at home now? And I think the teachers appreciate that as well. Like, thanks for taking concern, because I see what you do at school now. I got y'all, teachers. I got y'all. So just learning that they are emotional. They're very emotional, and I have to keen in on that and not just say, tough it up, buttercup. You know, actually go in and find, why are you emotional, and really look into it. And I know we're talking about relationships. I think that I was really nervous at first, like, oh man, I'll be home all day with this man at home. Be honest about it. But then when we got into it, like, I want you back at home. Come back home. We need to shut down the kid. You come on back home. Because that was, you know.
So you found that you really enjoyed your
I was
husband.
like, whoa, you didn't come back home. You was doing great with kids being the principal and the superintendent in there. I can send them to the principal when they got kicked out of school, out of my school. So, but we flowed very, very nicely. I was like, I thought we were going to do this a lot because we don't see each other because he's at school all the time. So when you're at home, I'm like, but we didn't. We really got on the train tracks and we were flowing. So I'm like, oh, COVID was a blessing to us too.
So Delinda, with you being president of the NAACP, all of this social discord and everything going on, how has this season worked?
COVID came, and you would think it brought in every injustice, every police brutality case, everything that could have went wrong seemed to happen when COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
So while everyone was sheltering in place, we couldn't stop. We were still moving 24/7, literally. When I say I receive phone calls, emails, and texts 7 days a week, 24 hours a day,
Wow.
I did. I'm also the state secretary for the Georgia NAACP. That put me in a different light. All the calls that came into the state office came to my email,
Wow.
and they were coming in around the clock from Georgia, California, London, Australia, China, Japan.
My goodness.
They were all coming in because they needed to reach the state president for interviews to find out what was happening here. Everyone was trying to find Georgia, especially with the Ahmaud Arbery case.
Mhm.
So that meant we were just on the forefront. COVID was here. We still had to do our protests in Atlanta, march on Georgia, march on Brunswick, march on Sylvania. It did not stop.
Mm.
And so, fearing COVID in a sense, I had to think, okay, do I stay home or do I look out for?
Yeah, because she was a little terrified of COVID.
Yes, I mean, because I'm like, a lot can happen. I mean, I
Yeah.
have my son, my husband, I have my family I'm around,
Right.
so it's like, am I going to endanger them?
Mhm.
But something stood up inside me and said, look, this is what you were called to do at this time.
Mhm.
You need to go ahead and serve the present age. Let's
Mhm.
move out. So that's what we did. Along with President Woodall, we were out there. We covered the state of Georgia, and it was a tremendous effect because it changed lives. And we had no COVID hotspots for what we did.
Mhm.
So that meant we were prepared. We masked ourselves up appropriately. We sanitized. We used so much sanitizer. I mean, hands were peeling, but we needed to do what we needed to do because.
I know it feels like I'm interrupting you,
Okay, go ahead.
but how have you found balance
Yes.
with not becoming like bitter and you gotta fight this injustice, but you gotta be you gotta be like have a center,
Mhm.
a common ground or a safe place. How have you kept your mind?
I never found myself bitter. I had to find a place where I could release
Mm.
and kind of dump almost without dumping. And my pastor, Donald Shavers,
Mhm.
gave me some advice in October of last year that when I feel walls coming in, get in my car and drive.
Mm.
So that's what I started doing. I would take drives. Once I put my son to bed and I knew my husband was there, he was secure, I would just drive
Mhm.
and listen to jazz. And it's amazing the difference it made. So by the time I came back home, checked my emails, I have 40, I could deal with them with no problem.
Yeah.
And then I also found
She said a key thing. People do not know how therapeutic riding is,
Mhm.
and not riding the same route,
Mm. Oh yeah.
but just driving
Yes.
a different route.
Mhm.
It is extremely therapeutic.
Mm.
Go ahead.
And another thing that a lot of people sometimes they elude or look over is actually faith.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Faith anchors you.
Faith.
Faith.
Mhm.
Faith anchors you. I was kind of like Delinda. I just got elected for city council, first black woman, one of the first black women to get elected in city council. So I was on this high in 2019. Time I get ready to serve. That's what I was hit with. They didn't train you for pandemic. This wasn't in the handbook. Where's pandemic? Nowhere in the handbook. And so we would get calls from churches, and at that time, church was a big thing. Should we close churches? Should churches be open? Should people be locked in? Should we just let people open? Should businesses be open? Should businesses be closed? You have all of this information coming in you, and you have to make a decision for the people. Some people gonna think you evil because you decide to do one thing, and other people gonna think you evil because you decide to do another. And so, where do you go when you're pulled in so many different directions? And on top of that, you're novice.
Yeah.
Never done this before.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to be a city councilor. And you're gonna throw a pandemic on me.
Right.
So I'm still learning the role of being a city council personnel. And then this pandemic comes. The thing that anchored me through it all was my faith in God.
Yes.
I had to drown out all of the voices around me. And the pandemic gave me the opportunity to hear him clearly. And when I drowned out all of those voices and heard his voice, because I had to bring myself down so low so that my voice was not talking to myself.
Right.
Because when they, popped off at me, guess what I wanted to do?
Pop
Wait, hold
off.
on. Wait now.
Yeah.
Don't pop off on me like that. That's what I wanted to do. But I had to bring myself down so that I could hear what God wanted me to do during this pandemic. And when I brought myself down, I could hear his voice clearly. And when he told me to do something, he always told me to do something, and when he told me to do it, it was always at the right time that I did it.
Yeah.
And I always ended up on top because I could hear him.
Yeah.
I could hear him again.
Yeah.
Because I had lost that. With all of the hustle and bustle, I
Yes.
couldn't hear God. This pandemic, I'm telling you guys, it has brought me to a place of unity with him. I don't need to go to my pastor to say, what do you need to do about this? Because I was going to him, okay, what do you think I need to do? I couldn't live like that anymore. God placed me in this position. And if he placed me in this position, he needed to give me the answer.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so my faith in him is what anchored me and allowed me to deal with other people's problems. So I could sit back in peace and listen to what they had to say, because really, I get emotional over this because it's so true. He was my anchor.
Paula, I definitely agree with that. So when school started back, I'm a person, I pretty much know what I'm gonna do. You can do whatever you want to do, but I know what I'm gonna do. But when it was time to send the children back to school, I said, Lord, what do I send my children to school? Do I keep them home? If I send them to school, they gonna say I'm the worst parent in the world. If I keep them home, they gonna fall so far back because they can't learn from me. I just got a crew that can't. They need to be in school. So I was torn. I was asking Michelle and Paula, should I send them or should I? And they don't know. They don't have no kids. They didn't know. So I said, Lord, you got to tell me what to do. At this point, I'm depending totally on you to tell me what to do with these children. He told me, send your kids to school. Send them to school. And when I sent them to, they've been healthy the whole time. Nothing is wrong with them. I'm getting reports from the teachers with my boys helping the teachers along. Because they're scared of COVID. They don't know what to do. So they in there comforting the teachers and making things better at school. So yeah, at first I was torn. And I'm not normally torn. But I was torn.
How has faith played in your life?
Well, faith played a major role in my life because as an essential manager out in the industry, I actually contracted COVID. So I had COVID, and in my restaurant, 8 people actually had COVID. So it took all faith, because during that time when I contracted COVID, it was like in the hype of it. A lot of people was losing their lives. They didn't know what to do, So I was like, okay, God, okay. So I was like, all right, so I'm gonna listen to you. You lead me and guide me through this. I know that you're a keeper. I know who I believe in. You know, you hear all this in the back of your head, you're not gonna make it. So many people dying, you're not gonna make it. But I kept my mind on God and I listened to him. He said, go outside and sit outside for 30 minutes out in the sun. Now you go walk, keep active, keep motivated, take your vitamins. You know, I mean, I went and got all 5 of those vitamins. I mean, I hit that herbal store
When
quick.
she said all 5 vitamins, it's a regimen that that our church folks are on. What is it?
It's olive leaves. I got vitamin C. I have elderberry. Also, I have I did some teas, turmeric, turmeric, and during that time, I was taking about 8 or 9 different pills. Because at the end of the day, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna take this medicine, but God, I know that you got me.
You got
me. At the end of the day, you got me. He had me. I mean, I had it for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, tested negative twice for it. So, I mean, it was all faith. You know, and during that time, I was worried about my co-workers, my staff that contracted it. You know, and they was calling me, and I was checking on them. And you know, and I think that it's that bond of communication during that period of time that kept them not focused on the sickness, but it kept them focused on, you know, these are the things I need to do. Take my vitamins, walk, you know, drink plenty of water, don't sleep this way, sleep this way. You know, it's just that we set with each other, that motivation that, hey, we can make it through this. Support system. We can make it through this.
Yeah, something else that had me a little nervous too was I was home, you know, during when pandemic really started. I was home with the kids, but Greg still had to go to work. So he's still out with a lot of people during this time. So again, faith had to kick in first to get him to the job. And we all stay to the house.
Right.
But with him out with all these people, is he gonna bring something back home to us? Because at the time, several people on his job was getting COVID. Faith stepped in again. He didn't get it and ended up during the pandemic and got a better job.
Faith.
Yeah.
You know, when you speak of faith, I just know that my routine changed. I'm an early morning person regardless. So when I was shut down with the pandemic, this is why my sister said, this child is depressed.
She was.
Cause
I think she was.
I was in bed all day. And anybody know me, I can't sleep all day long. So I'm up and out and peaking. Finally, when I did get myself back on track, my neighbor, which I call her the neighborhood watch, she started seeing me come out every day. And every morning at a certain time, because I get up and do my routine, I was sitting out there and I began to read my Bible out. And I don't just read my Bible quietly. I read it out because I wanted to go out into my neighborhood. And then I pray for the neighborhood. So she comes every morning. And one morning she came. She didn't realize that I had gone back to the work environment. And she said, I sat up all afternoon, all morning, waiting to hear the scriptures being read. You read the scriptures daily. And she said, and I came back the next day, and you were not there. And she said, and I was wondering, do you reckon she got sick with it? So your faith don't only affect you,
Right.
It affects others around you.
Right.
And what you believe about the power of God, you put it out there.
Right.
Don't hide that even in a time like this. What you believe and what you know about God, you put it out there. Because it heals others.
And that was another thing. We were forgetting who you serve. Who do you serve? Like, I totally get that COVID is real and all this, but I totally get that it's not bigger than God.
Right.
Like, seriously.
When it first came out, of course, you know, I'm still learning about COVID and, you know, how it works with government or whatever. So, me and Delina, we were always doing marches and we were doing all kinds of things. So it was the first march that we had here in Statesboro. me along with some others, we initiated it. So I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, we gonna do this. We're doing this march. We need to do this march. She said, Paula, I don't think you need to be out there. All them people. You don't have to be out there around all them people. You just need to figure out another time to do this. This ain't the right time. You know, COVID is out. I said, Mom, we're gonna have on masks and we're gonna be social. We're gonna social distance. She said, I don't think this is the right time. Well, if you know my mom, we're very close in what her words, they're like a rock in my life. So she said, no, I seriously consider what she has to say. But it went back to my faith in God. Is your mother bigger than God?
Yeah.
Is his voice smaller than your mother's voice? So he said to me, he says, I didn't put you in this position to be quiet. I didn't put you there. When I got those words, I said, Mom, I don't care what you say. I'm going to sit to that house until I get back. I'm going to have this march and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I've never contracted COVID because of my faith has anchored me. Yes, I social distance. Yes, I wore my mask. Yes, I hand sanitized. I did all of the safety precautions, but God kept me.
Yes.
Yeah, God
kept me.
Who kept me.
And I know God kept Linda because she was at more marches than I was.
And they had me marching too.
And you know God kept us in the midst of all of this. Because when you think of self-employed people like us, we don't have no backup plan.
Right.
Like, you ain't got this big, some might have, but I didn't have no 501k or whatever they call it. I didn't have that. I had my savings and my little investment.
Michelle, you said what you had for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
See, I didn't know. I called it 501k. You know I didn't. I don't have because I don't even know the name of it. But however, when you there and you have saved this money and just part of your retirement, you done use up all your little regular. And these people said they was gonna give us unemployment. But I didn't do it. They didn't do what they said. And they told me we was gonna get 900 a week. But when it finally came through, I didn't get no. So God had to sustain me and keep me from going under.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of these people, I have to see my finances. Some people, they can live and just get up and, well, he gonna do it tomorrow. No, I need you to put a sign down, Lord. Write them numbers down. Write them numbers down. I can see them. Yeah. So that faith had to keep me.
Yeah.
Faith has really been instrumental in my life during this.
Good
Because-
gracious.
And my faith in God has relieved me of all fear. I mean, like, it's amazing that I have, like, absolutely no fear.
Wow.
And I can hear God clearly when I'm going to certain environments. He'll say, put your mask on, put gloves on this time. Wash your face. You leave, take your alcohol, rag, wash your face, wash your neck, wipe your head, wipe your hand, take your clothes off. And when I leave, and then I get the report, I'm like, oh,
That's why.
that's why. And my faith in God has relieved me of all fear. I have not been afraid at all, and I've done basically 2 funerals a week.
Yeah.
Wow. More
Since-
at times.
Yeah.
Since COVID, sometimes 4.
Yeah.
Wow. I know it had to be fake for you to see death that much.
Yeah.
And,
That much.
and that's the thing. And I'm not morbid.
Yeah. Right.
I can still feel and walk with people through the valley of the shadows of death.
Yeah.
And fear no evil. That text. Now the 23rd song really came alive to me
Wow.
through this pandemic when it says, The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley and the shadows of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. It really kept me, because I have the awareness of what's going on, but it does not paralyze me.
You still walk through.
Yeah,
I
because
can still go through
be
and serve.
yes, serve.
Yeah.
It's the serving. We still have to serve.
Yeah.
And I'm always like amazed at people that say they have great faith and forget to serve.
Forget to
You
serve.
got to serve.
You still got to serve regardless. I was just thinking about when these pandemics came out many years back, like the smallpox or whatever. You still had people that had to serve.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful that God still chose me
Yeah.
Yes.
to be on the serving
Yes.
side. And with me being a servant, I have not been affected.
And we are not saying because maybe we have not contracted COVID that a person who has contracted it didn't have faith.
Right.
No,
Right.
no.
Say that off.
Because you can actually be strong in your faith and still contract it, and but still have the wherewithal to move forward.
To serve.
Yeah.
To
To
serve.
serve. Just because you get it don't mean you stop serving.
The pull of a servant is hard. Will keep you going through all of the trials if you don't let yourself get so bogged down on yourself. And remember, I've got to serve this present age because I have a calling that I must fulfill.
Yes. And that's one thing I think during COVID, it has pulled some of us to a place of being in the forefront that we didn't think would be. I know for me, I went behind the scenes and planned to stay there for years. But during this time, I was then thrust out. And where I think I may have not been qualified to do certain things, I didn't have a certain look, I didn't have a certain sound, I couldn't do this right, I couldn't present right. I was still pushed where I had to come out. I had to speak in front of people, which everyone knows I'm not thrilled about that right now. But I was pushed out there, and I had something to say for this time, and I had to do it now. Period. So I have found my element there to where I'm comfortable in doing that. But I had to do it for now.
And this, a lot of people have not accepted this as a shakeup
Right.
to shake you out of some sort of norm.
Yeah.
Right.
And they are craving for things to be back.
Back.
Same old comfort zone.
Back.
Instead of
Moving forward.
putting your feet on the ground and moving
Move.
forward.
Yes.
Stop teasing yourself with back. Back. No.
That's all.
Put your feet on the ground right now. Live right now. And move forward right now. And even if they do come out with a vaccine, or even if this God just somehow another lifts it and it goes away, it's still a shakeup to cause you to come out
To go
of
forward.
a zone that you were in and push you and thrust you into another area of life.
It made you not be so dependent upon people.
Yes.
You got away from people dependency. Because as much as you think you're not dependent on people, you are very people dependent.
Yes.
But when you got this COVID and you had to be sheltered, that took you away from people.
Yes.
Distant.
Yes. So then you had to go within your inner self and learn all over again who you are.
Yes.
Because during this time, had I not been thrown out of work and made stay here, I would have never ever realized how much I love gardening.
Yes.
And I haven't stopped just because COVID stopped and my first bumper crop was produced and I have canned. I have another crop.
Go ahead, Michelle.
And so it keeps me with something moving all the time. My creativity came alive.
Yes.
And the things that I heard my pastor say, what you enjoyed as a child, you still enjoy. My childhood loves came back alive, and gardening was always one of those things. Yeah.
What would you, I guess we'll just go make a circle.
Okay.
what would you like to share with our viewing audience? Just a savory nugget to keep them through this time, or something that you learned, or just share. Diane.
I would share that you really need to let God give you your daily bread. Like, stop worrying about so much of tomorrow and just stop and enjoy today. Let Him serve you your daily bread. We don't allow Him to lay it out and serve us today our daily bread because we worry, what we gonna eat tomorrow, Jesus? It ain't can you eat these Danishes today? So really slow down, enjoy what He has laid out for you today. That's what I would say.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
Sarah.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
It's just for a moment. This is just a season to show you who you are, where your faith is, who the people you are around are. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
You gotta keep moving forward. Don't get stagnant in it,
Yeah.
or you'll swim in it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Lisa.
I done learned, y'all.
Change is good. Change is good. Change is very good because during this time right now that we're living through is that we have to move forward. You know, He puts us in a place, in a situation that He thrusts us to move forward. And don't be afraid of the change.
Yeah.
Grasp the change because change is good. And you can make it through. You might not think at that present time, but that's when you have to focus on what is He trying to get me to? Where is He trying to get me to go to? And just grasp that and hold on to it and move forward.
Yeah.
Wow. Change is good. Paulette.
I guess if I had to say anything, I probably would say we're in a defining time. I like to call them defining moments. Be very careful of how you allow this time to define you. It could define you as someone evil, mean, or it could define you as someone who is creative, who's smart, who knows how to adapt to change. This is a defining moment, so be very careful of how it defines you.
Wow.
Michelle.
I would say be an infectious lover everywhere you go. Let that love that's really in you come out because people need to be loved.
Yes.
And I say, love purely. With everything that's within you, love purely and infectiously.
For me, I would say, learn you. I listen to a song repeatedly throughout the year. I'm Here from The Color Purple. Which says I'm going to hold my head up, take a deep breath, put my shoulders back. And I realize that everything I need is in me to have a bountiful life.
Yeah.
I'm going to flirt with somebody as they walk by. I'm going to look at myself and sing out, I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
So in this time of being still for a moment, learn who you are and appreciate you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That was good.
That's a
I'd
mouthful.
also like to add, this is my last time, so don't get me. Love the people that are around you. Enjoy them for who they are. Because you're going to need a support system. So just love the people that are around you. I love you guys. Group hug.
I would say reach across the aisles. Reach across the aisles in your friendships, every relationship, and friend outward.
Oh, yeah.
Friend outward, and not only outward, friend upward. Because this season that we're in is a sort of a dispersing to get the good people out. And it's you ever remember picking the dandelions after they bloom and the little white things on there? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is that season where we're actually, and I want people to pay attention to that. This is the season where you take it and let yourself be that, those seeds that are dispersed.
Yes.
You be the seed that is dispersed into everybody, especially those of us who are of the household of faith and who God has invested such giftings in. This is our moment. This is our time. And we've got to treat it just like this is a sacred season and not a dreaded time. Because these are the makings of the greatest days of your life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would employ everybody and ask everybody to employ themselves to friending upward and friending outward and reaching across the aisles. And when I say reach across the aisles, that means deal with people that you just don't like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You just don't like,
Makes a difference.
because there's an exchange. They have something you desperately need,
Yes.
and you have something that they desperately need. And if you don't reach across the aisle, you won't get yours and they won't get theirs. And we will just, yeah.
Wow.
Correct.
This was great tea time.
Yeah.
This is
That was good.
That was great.
good talking to you
Cheers,
all.
ladies and
Woo-hoo,
gents.
ladies and gents.
Get them up, girls. Get them up, girls. Team.
I don't have any left.
This has been Sipping Tea
Capacity.
with Pastor D. I love you. God bless you.
Awesome. Woo.